Welcome, Marvel comic fans, to this maze of lore. I am here to tell the first lore adventure of Wolverine from the Marvel Rivals game, as a future forms reshaping time's collapse. Wolverine navigates a world of old allies, new enemies, and a brewing war for mutant survival on Krakoa. When a familiar face reappears under impossible circumstances, Logan is drawn into a mission that could change all safety for mutants.
Another one, Freddy. Heavy on the orchard nectar.
You got it, Logan, said Fred Jukes, the bartender of the Green Lagoon, a hidden haunt nestled deep in Krakoa, the living island refuge for mutants. Fred plucked a vibrant orchid from the garden behind the bar, squeezing a delicate blossom in his enormous hand until its strange pink nectar dripped into a tall glass. A few more natural ingredients, a quick shake, and the drink slid down the bar into Logan's waiting hand. Not like you to order off the fancy menu, Fred said, wiping his hands on a towel. Logan studied the swirling pink liquid.
I ain't looking to forget tonight, bub. I want to remember every second.
Mind if I listen in on those memories? Came a smooth, cold voice. Logan looked up. Magneto, one-time enemy, sometimes ally, eased onto the stool beside him. Once Logan would have lunged at him, claws first, but Krakoa had rewritten more than just old grudges. The world had gone sideways after the time-stream entanglement, a chronicle catalysm that eased whole realities like chalk wiped from a board. Krakoa had nearly been lost to the Storm, but Storm herself, Aurora Monroe, had steered them through. When the skies finally cleared, the island and its people found themselves marooned in the year 2099. Magneto had adapted fast. He didn't try to conquer this new future. Instead, he opened Krakoa's gates to any mutant lost in a temporal chaos. Building a fragile but growing mutant sanctuary, it earned him allies and enemies. But Magneto had always cared more for mutant survival than the world's approval. You still hanging on to that human liberation nonsense, Logan? Magneto asked, eyeing him. Humans or not, Logan muttered. I don't like anyone wearing jackboots. The public eye, Alchemax, Doom, someone's got to stand up. Magneto's expression hardened at the name. Victor Von Doom was still alive in 2099, more powerful and more dangerous than ever. Sometimes Doom had sparked the time-stream entanglement himself, whether by design or accident, or perhaps a variant of him from another timeline.
And these resistant allies of yours,
Magneto asked carefully.
you trust them?
With my life, Logan replied without hesitation.
There ain't many of us left, but the ones standing are the best of what they do.
Fred leaned in from behind the bar. Still got Black Widow on your squad, huh? Also figured out she'd age like the rest of us. Guess not. She doesn't look a day older, Logan said.
And she ain't the only one left, bub. Someone else showed up. Someone you ought to hear about.
Magneto and Fred leaned in as Logan told the story. He'd travelled through a Krakoan gate to Tokyo to meet Natasha Romanoff, the Red Room, now her private intel network, had intercepted chatter about an unknown assassin taking out high-level criminal syndicates, including the Yashida Corporation. Natasha went silent before their meet. That wasn't like her. Digging through Tokyo's underworld, Logan used a mix of threats and brute force to extract intel. Natasha had caught wind of a Mercury-level asset locked away at Alchemax HQ, and she'd gone after it, solo. Logan raced through Tokyo's alleys, but before he reached the tower, the night split open. An explosion roared from Alchemax's upper floors, shaking the city like an earthquake. He bolted for the wreckage, claws itching to draw blood, but instead of Natasha, he had found a lone figure standing amidst the smoke. Captain America. Fred nearly dropped a glass. Captain freaking America?
Yeah,
Logan said.
but the Boy Scout wasn't alone.
Doombots swarmed around Cap, sleek and heavily armed. Their red eyes glowed like coals as their weapons locked on the battered soldier. Logan's claws sprang free before thought could catch up. Metal flashed, and he hurled himself into the fray, a whirlwind of slashing steel and snarling rage. His claws ripped through armored plating like tissue paper, severing limbs and cleaving torsos in half. Sparks and shrapnel rained down as the last Doombot fell. Cap fought like a man born for it, shield or no. His fists and boots struck with the precision of a master, each blow caving in mechanical skulls or shattering steel limbs. His strength hadn't dulled, but his uniform was scorched, and his muscles strained under the century of ice and the recent blast. When the final Doombot dropped, Logan asked about Natasha. Cap, catching his breath, confirmed she'd saved him, but had vanished again. Logan considered bringing him to Krakoa, but the island's gates only opened for mutants, and Magneto was right. Sheltering Cap would turn Krakoa into a target the size of the moon. So where is he now? Magneto asked. Logan took another swig.
I'm getting to that.
He brought Cap to a Resistance safe house. The soldier was alive, but barely. The super soldier serum wasn't enough to heal burns and muscle damage this severe, especially after a century and a half in ice. Logan returned to Krakoa, gathered medicinal flowers and brought them back. The concoction worked faster than modern medicine. Cap was back on his feet by dawn. I owe you my life, Cap had said. Once the burn faded and strength returned to his limbs, this isn't my war, but I'll fight for your people. Logan appreciated the offer, but having Captain America on the team would draw every corporate war machine and private army in the city straight to their doorstep. Cap understood. He asked for a place to disappear, one where his enemies couldn't follow. There ain't many places left on Earth for that, Logan had said, but what if I told you the place ain't on Earth at all? Logan mentioned Wakanda, but the one Cap knew, the African nation had taken to the stars, seeking the roots of vibranium and forging an intergalactic empire. T'Challa, now king, had offered alliances to select groups facing the same looming darkness. Natasha had accepted. Logan had one of T'Challa's Kimoyo beads, a key. Cap and Logan made their way to Tokyo's Wakandan embassy, slipping through the public eye's surveillance nets. When they reached the empty halls, they had found the statue of Bashenga, the first Black Panther. Logan activated the Kimoyo bead. A portal fled open. Cap gave Logan a sharp salute. Thanks for the save, soldier. If you ever need me, you know where to find me. Then he stepped through. Logan returned to Krakoa. Natasha was still missing, and his gut told him trouble was only getting started. But not before stopping back home for a quick refresher. Logan finished, drinking his glass and wiping his chin. Magneto stood, eyes distant. A fascinating tale, but what comforts me most is the thought, perhaps in this world we have as many friends as foes. Sometimes you gotta take your helmet off to see the full picture, Logan replied with a smirk. Magneto turned to leave.
I have much to consider.
You and me both, Logan muttered, placing his glass back on the bar. Fred glanced at the empty glass, eager for more stories. Another round, Logan? Logan stood, pulling his cowl over his eyes, his thoughts already back on the hunt.
Yap up.
He said, voice low and steady.
But make this one for the road.